An elven warrior trapped on modern-day Earth. Two friends with different destinies meet at a magical school. These are some of the stories we at Electric Lips Comics are working on. You can get your copies of both The Mana Chronicles and Tales of Mithril at elpmerch.com. Support independent creators. Explore the merch featuring exciting ELP Comics art with a wide range of designs. Electric Lips Comics. Imagination electrified.
Well, welcome, Oil Runners. We are live today. We thank you for coming on and joining us. Well, today we have Franky Slawson from Renegade Renegade Radio. It is 8:15 in the morning, okay? So, still dark outside. But either way, we want to first of all, thank our sponsors, Electric Lips Comics and Michael W. Rogers Photography, for being able to help us put this stuff on. Okay, so Electric Lips Comics has a website, www.elpmerch.com, that you just saw, ELPMERCH.com, and then Michael W. Rogers is michaelwrogersphoto.com. So go wake them up, go on their websites, and get it going. He's going back to Las Vegas right now, so he should be able to be going back to work. But either way, we have a great dude on here. His name is Franky Slawson. So we want to welcome you. Welcome. How are you doing,
Hey,
Mr. Slawson?
I'm doing all right there, Christinall. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I mean, I woke up about an hour and a half ago, so which is all good.
I woke up about 45 minutes ago, so I'm just like, just kind of, you say it's early over there. It's, it's not as early over here, but it's like, 3-hour time difference. So, yeah, we had the sun out already, as you can see in the background.
Dude, it's still dark out, and you guys got light already. I mean, it's pitch black out here.
Do you live in the area where it doesn't get, where they all get limited amount of sun, or do you get sun like normally?
We get our sun about 9:30 in the morning, maybe 10.
So
depends on how it feels.
Why is it in that part of Alaska that only gets the sun for like a few days, and all of a sudden for like 100 days or something, there's no sun or whatever?
Oh, that's up in the north. Yeah, Anchorage is like more down on the bottom. The more north you go, the darker it gets. And yeah, they do, and they have the polar bears up there too. So
and Santa Claus,
it's kind of fun.
Else,
yeah, they got the North Pole. We actually do have a North Pole.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was just.
Yeah, because I remember when I worked at J.C. Penney's years ago up here. Right, this is my second round up here, and I was heavily pregnant with my son, and I did not know anything about Alaska. Let's just put it that way. So I get this customer in the window coverings department, and I was like, oh, okay. She ordered her stuff, and I was like, okay, so what's your address? And she gave me the address, and then she put North Pole, Alaska. And I literally stopped writing. And I looked at her, and I said, are you joking? Right? Didn't know, right? So, and she goes, no, I live in the North Pole. I said, you got to be no, that's not real. So she goes, no, it's real. Oh gosh, okay. So after that, I was kind of intrigued about it, and they really do have a Santa Claus house and everything up there, the whole 9 yards. A YouTube link that can link you to where the elves, that you could see them working and stuff like that. Like, it's great. I said, okay, well, interesting.
Sounds like a fun time, because I think with the holidays coming up, that'd be a wonderful place to go. I'm sure they get a lot of people, even if it is, as cold as it is or dark as it is or whatever.
Yeah, people have they have a church up there. They have all kinds of stuff up there, but it's a very small town right next to Fairbanks, and it's just flatlands. I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting.
Hey, northern Minnesota can be too, where I'm from. It's like we have flatland in certain spots, hills in other spots, and it's just sometimes it don't make a lot of sense, over here.
Yeah.
But I get
right.
It.
Yeah. No, we actually do have reindeer up here too.
Oh, well, we have deer, but not reindeer.
Yep. Nope, we got reindeer. Yeah, they do it all.
I think we have moose and stuff here as well, like in certain spots, and then I I don't know if we have buffalo or anything up here, but I know I used to live in South Dakota and used to see a lot of bison and buffalo over there in the Black Hills because that's where it was, over there. So, but over here, just mostly deer, you know, unless you like are a mountain man or whatever, and you live
Right.
like you see coyotes and everything like some people do. I'm not really much of an outdoorsman. I just, I might look like I am, but I'm definitely not. I just, I mostly like to do stuff indoors. So, but I'm honored to be on your show, though. I mean, this is very exciting. I mean, this is, I want to thank Stephen Joyner for help hook me up with you because, ever since we agreed to do this, I was watching some of your content and seeing some of the people that you're interviewing. And I'm starting to see kind of a pattern, kind of more or less, that I think Stephen's vision here, if anything, I think would probably be just to build a community of random people that he feels are qualified enough to host and to do to change the game. We'll say, as a lot of people like to use that term. And I'm one of those
That's a
people
good way
who
to
want
put it.
change the game. Yeah, because we're not your typical hosts, okay, of podcast. We don't look like we're podcasters. We don't look like we're radio people. We don't look like we're video people. We look like more we're ready to go to Comic-Con or something like that, maybe, or whatever. And,
Yep.
nerd out a little bit, and do all those things. But honestly, the life that I've lived so far, anyway, in these 41 years, some things I'd probably trade a little bit, to have a better life. But I think maybe this is the way it was supposed to be. I don't know. I'm starting to acknowledge it more than I used to. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different nowadays. Yeah, we definitely don't look like the normal or whatever. Like, look, we're just real. I mean, it's just we're not trying to be somebody that we're not. We're just shooting the
Well, yeah.
breeze with people.
Well, I've
And
always loved the broadcasting. I mean, growing up, I was into broadcasting. Like even before I even knew I was going to do stuff on the radio. Uh, this journey takes me back to when we were like growing up with my folks, or especially my dad. He's the one that got me into music because growing up, we would listen to like Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison, all the old stuff. But
right.
Buddy Holly had a very special, like reason for everything as far as how I grew up because we'd watch the Buddy Holly show or the Buddy Holly story with Gary Busey, and for the longest time as a kid, I assumed that was Buddy Holly, because I didn't know how films were made and everything at the time, or what documentaries
Yeah.
were, or rockumentaries, or whatever you call them nowadays. I thought that was Buddy Holly, and I thought Lou Davin Phillips was Richie Valens. I was kind of slow as a kid a little bit, so it took me a little while to realize that. Wait a minute, they're playing the characters of these people. They're not, but
Yeah.
they're doing a good job, and they almost look like they could be, these people. And
Right.
so I grew up watching those films and grew up listening to oldies radio and especially with my dad because that's the one thing that I can say that the biggest bond that we've ever had, in life, more than anything else was music. And while we're not performers at all or anything like that, musically, I think that's what kind of inspired me to want to do radio because, this is radio mostly promoting, constant promotion of things. You're constantly promoting the news, the weather, the sports, the next song you're going to play, or the
Right.
next guest that you have. It's constant promotion. You're constantly selling yourself without even really realizing that you're selling yourself to your audience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And it's productive. You're helping others, like I mean,
So
I'm a video game player, but it does beat video games, honestly.
well, I mean, I like it too. I mean, I got an Xbox. I used to be a PlayStation person for the longest time, and then I was curious about the Xbox because a lot of people always said the Xbox was like better than PlayStation. So I want to put it to the test. Now, I feel the PlayStation is probably still a little bit better, as far as certain things or whatever. But I like the Xbox. I got the Series X at home, so the refrigerator or whatever, the big box or whatever that looks like a
Yeah.
refrigerator. But I love video games. I grew up playing video games. Just different
Yeah.
now because living by myself. I mostly just play online with people. I don't really have. I used to play with my brother a lot. Like he and I would be very competitive when it came to video games, and especially like wrestling games and whatever. And he get all
Yeah.
mad. He probably don't want me to tell his story, but he get all mad, that every time I whip his butt in anything. And so what he would do back in the day when you could throw a controller at a TV and it bounce right back to you.
Yeah.
Because nowadays,
Now
you don't want to do that nowadays, But he would get so angry all the time, and he would be a sore loser and everything. And yeah, and
oh
even sometimes I'd see him play, and even now, and it's just like he doesn't get mad like he used to, but he gets a
yeah.
little the words start falling out of his mouth a little bit. We'll just say.
Well, you know what? Maybe you gotta take his controller and then like wrap it into like bubble wrap or something, so or a pillowcase or pillow, something fluffy, so he can throw it all he wants.
Well,
like
I'm just I'm just thankful that we didn't have flat panel TVs back in the day because God, I think that would have cost a lot of money. I think to try to replace. Because now they're so easy to break. I watch these. I don't know if you watch these type of videos, but sometimes I'll watch some of these rage videos of these people that probably have more money than they know what to do with, or they're just spoiled,
mm,
and they'll get mad because they lose, and all of a sudden they'll just start destroying the whole everything they have. I'm just like, why?
yeah.
Why are you doing that? I mean, I wouldn't even
Well,
dare he would do that. But it's funny
oh,
to
right.
watch because it's like, why are you doing that? And like, who's paying
Exactly.
for all
But
this stuff?
but we need to go see if they're doing it right before Black Friday, though.
Oh yeah.
Need to make sure to see if they're doing that just to like, oh yeah, we'll get it for $2 again. It's okay, just throw it.
Oh yeah, because that's when they record everything on Black Friday, just before they've ready to destroy everything. No,
Yep.
I'm glad I was raised better and have respect for things, because I take good
Yeah.
care of everything I have, even as a single guy. But then I watch some of these videos of these like the little kids or whatever that get into like I don't know if your son was ever like this or whatever, but like some kids when they're little, if they're not watched properly, they can do. You don't know what they're gonna do,
Oh, he
and you
dared.
see them.
He dared not to do that.
Well, I
He was
think
a
I
good
was a good.
kid.
I think I was a good kid too. I don't think I really messed around a lot with like my parents' things or tried to destroy anything. I was different that way. But like I would see these videos of these kids, messing around like coloring on the toilet or like
Uh,
get into like the flower, and so it looks like they're all like like they just got done doing a line or whatever. And it's like I don't yeah, it's just a whole compilation of little kids getting into mischief and tearing up the couches and everything, and just like wow, that's kind of funny.
uh, yeah, yeah. My son. I think for me, it was the worst. Was well, he got in. He had a tuft of hair. It was just so weird. He have it. It didn't grow here, where it was like
Yeah.
all together. It just was a tuft. So even in the
Oh,
snow, you could find him when he's walking in the snow. So you could see the little tuft going over, because the snow was too high, and all this stuff. But he got I was doing the dishes and he got a brush and he was trying to brush his hair. He was about 2 years old, and he sat there. He came through, and he was like, "Mom," And all I started laughing so hard, but like, but he had controlled. He was allowed to get into the flower, controlled. I wasn't a perfect parent, but I knew not to. I was respectful on the stuff items too, and I tried to let him know we don't play that game either. So,
yeah, that's
but
right.
but
Did he, did he ever have a brother or sister at all, or is that the only kid you have?
he has a couple brothers and sisters.
So how was that then when they all get together? Were they all kind of grew up together, kind of, or
Our family's kind of separated,
oh,
so the brothers and sisters belong to his dad, and I had another kid as well, and they were raised. They actually they weren't bad. With the little
okay.
one had gotten more trouble than the older. So
So that
Jeez
is the one you
Louise.
see the compilation video and everything, right?
Yeah.
Putting stuff in the toilet, like, look, Mom, I'm going to put this toy in the toilet, and you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, that okay. So there's a story for the toilet, like for the little one. So my brother, he was visiting and he just got out of the military, got home from the military, and I can't remember if it was he got out or if he was on leave or had that leave or whatever. And so my son was being taught, to go to the bathroom and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
that's where the poop goes and all that stuff. So the
absolutely.
word that the family used wasn't wasn't a word that everybody, because I'm not going to swear on here, but it was the S
Oh, yeah.
word. And so my brother, my brother was like, "Yeah, this phone is a piece of S," and my child decided to go take the phone and he put it and he threw it in the toilet because he thought that word went with that. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird," but we all started laughing. And thank God it was one of those simple phones, wasn't. But yeah, he associated phone and the S word to that's where it goes. And it's like, okay. Um, yeah. I said, yep,
sounds,
that's definitely me.
sounds, yeah, yeah. Well, hey, that's just the thing, and that's why, in a way, I'm kind of glad that. I mean, I don't regret the fact that I don't have any kids at all. It's just that I could, like, I know they say there's somebody for everybody, and I keep hearing that all the time, but it's like I'm starting to believe as the age goes by and as time moves on that that's just kind of a myth because I I've just been used to just being by myself, and I just feel like I've been able to have the most success because of being by myself. Of course, it sucks being lonely, but I'm not that lonely where I'm just like you know I'm being depressed or anything like that, like some people probably would be. I have a lot to keep me busy, and so it's not like it's not like I don't want to have a family or anything because trust me, if I had my chance, I probably would. I'd go for it. But it's just that I live in an area where everybody just wants to be your friend. Where you're just like, if we did anything together, it'd be like doing something with my brother. And I hear that all the time. I'm just like, oh, I'm not your brother. I see a lot of people that shouldn't be in relationships that are in relationships. I don't know how the heck they got into that relationship. There are a lot of evil people
Right.
out there that are really and to be honest, like I don't know how it was for you. You said you're separated. Well, there's people that that treat each other like crap and everything, and I don't know how they fell in love in the first place. And yet I can't get nobody to fall in love with me. So,
Yeah. Yep. I'm used to hearing I wish the other girls were like you.
uh,
But like you're great. I mean, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I don't even care for all that. But like, but okay. But then they want to train the people, to be like me. And I was like, you can't do that. I'm not. I just, it is what it is. Nope. I totally
sure.
get it. Like,
Well,
I
I
mean, it
feel like
doesn't.
I'm kind of hogging the interview, so I mean, you can go ahead and
No, no.
ask some questions if you want.
It's all good. We're just chilling, shooting the breeze.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, learning about you, learning about everything. But
Well, yeah. I just feel like I kind of just started the interview, but without even like you did the introduction, but then it's like here I started rambling about stuff that you haven't even asked me about, or not yet anyway.
no,
It's,
I really didn't have to. You said what I was going to ask anyway, so it worked out.
okay. Well,
you
you can go
know,
ahead and
and
ask
then
a
that's
question if you want. I don't care. I'm all yours here. So whatever you
oh
want to
yeah,
do.
no, you. This show is about this. This is what it's about. Learning and whatever it is. I might definitely. I definitely want to know how you got your show. Like, what? How did that come about?
Well, that came about because the love of radio. As I mentioned about the possibility of wanting to be a radio person without even realizing that I wanted to be. Uh, I didn't know that that the local college that in a town that's like 40 miles from where I grew up even had a radio station. I should, it's like, I don't know if I was just well, what's that term word they use when you sheltered, I don't know if I was sheltered from not knowing, or just like it just nobody ever said anything about it until the day that I actually went there and got a tour, and then I started like talking more about it, and then people were like, oh yeah, it's been around for a long time, it's been around since the early '60s and everything. It's like, I didn't know that. And I didn't grow up
Right.
where, some places have like a radio station in your school. I think if I would have had a radio station in the school that I went to, and did that for an activity or whatever, I think life would
Mhm.
have probably would have been a lot different. I don't think I probably would have went to school. I think I would have probably just been like, you know what, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to go to school. I can just get a job because of everything that I've done for the school over the course of time, and whatever. But it didn't work
Right.
out that way. I found out as I think it was my senior year in high school. They were asking, because the schools always just like to keep on asking like what you want to do when you get older or right after school. They want to push you. They want to make you decide too many things too quickly, and sometimes people aren't ready for that. I know I wasn't, but I made a decision, and I thought, well, you know what? I will. Let's go to the college. And I heard something about that they have actually, I think we were just going down there for a tour. I didn't even know, this was before I even knew that they had the station. So the station was kind of by surprise. I said, let's go to Northland. Let's just see what they got, and maybe I'll find something. I don't know. I've never been to the school before, so it'll be interesting to see what they have. And then I got a brochure when I got there, and then I was reading. Oh, they got a radio station there. That's kind of cool. We'll have to go check that out. And so we did. And as soon as I walked in there, I was just like, this is where I belong. I don't even know anybody that's here right now. I don't even know what they do. Don't even know their history or anything. But I stepped right in there. I felt like this is interesting. This is like this could be something. And I got all excited. I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I get you got it figured out. I don't need a test to tell me this. I don't need to take like a 80 or 100 question quiz or whatever to find out what I'm all about. I think this is what I'm all about. And so after I graduated from high school, that's what I decided to do. I went and tried out the broadcasting in about August of 2002, and yeah, everything just kind of started from there. I I guess combination from the show that I'm doing right now to when it all kind of started. It's basically just I wanted for the longest time to do a show that was different. Now, back in the day in 2002, nobody knew the word podcast because nobody said the word podcast. Nobody said the word social media yet because social media was a different thing. Because I think MySpace didn't come up until what, about 2005,
Yeah.
2006, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
If you
Somewhere
remember
around
that,
there. Yeah.
did you ever have a
Yeah.
page at all? Did you ever
I
have a MySpace
did
page?
for a minute.
Okay.
For a minute. Yeah. I
Right.
graduated '02, so.
Uh, anyway, I was going to say, in those days, it was different times. So I assumed that, this was just going to be an easy thing. Go and learn about radio. And maybe I made it harder on myself, but I felt like they were giving me too many classes that had nothing to do with broadcasting. Like
Hmm.
I didn't want to be a salesperson. I wanted to be a radio guy. I want to be the next Wolfman Jack because I feel because of how much I know about the guy and how much of an inspiration he is to me and to many other people. I figure, well, this is what I want to do. I can be the next Wolfman Jack. I just need some time to build my character, to know about what I'm doing because I'm totally green at this, and
Hmm.
let's see what happens. Well, it didn't work out the way that I wanted to. So I guess about a year and a half later, they offered a volunteer program, and so I came back to college, but not to be a student, but to be a volunteer. And that's where I got to learn how to do everything the right way, like how to host a show, how to learn the right music to play, and then the music that you should be playing. Like I'm not anything about top 40 whatsoever. I know, like I love top 40, but I'd rather listen to something that's been around for 50 or 60 years that nobody knows has existed. Like many different styles of music and songs and albums, and stuff songs that have been disappeared in the limelight because of the hits and everything. You know,
Right.
so I wanted to do a show that was based on deep tracks, but also not just based on music, but also based on I can have a guest now and again, and so slowly through that transition, through the time that I was there, and it took a little while to get it all down. Once I got it down, then that's what I started to do. In 2006, I started doing interviews, and I just blew up from there. Uh, this is before YouTube and all that, so July of 2006, we had Greg to have a Valentine come down to do like a house show at the casino that I currently work at right now. But my first time working there was 2006, so I was fairly new to that at the time. I was a security guard. So, long story short, he kind of helped kick off my first interview, and then I've done so many other interviews since then. A time came when I went to when things were just changing with the way radio was and just the way the college was, and I didn't feel like the people who saw me grow up in that facility really cared enough about me, to want to see me get to the next level, because they could have easily paid me, they could have gave me something to do every day, and I could have been an actual employee of the college, because I
Right.
know how to do all the things that they've taught me, because they're the ones that taught me everything. They're the ones that gave me the free education without even realizing that they're giving me a free education. Well, everybody else had to pay for it. I never had to pay for it. I just had to take time. I go step by step, learn little baby steps here and there to eventually get to the success that I eventually have now with Renegade Radio. Now,
Okay.
in January of 2021, I cut ties with Pioneer because I just realized that they just didn't care about me. I could put a show together, and have it be good, but they had me on late at night during the week when nobody was listening. I got little to no feedback, every time I do a show. Not that I need feedback all the time, but sometimes it's nice to know if did I make a mistake? Is there something that I could have done better, for next time? Let me know, because I'm always for constructive criticism. I can take it. I know
Right.
if I'm not doing that great, or if I can do a lot better. But so I stopped doing radio for a while, and then I discovered Zoom during the pandemic, and Zoom has been, just like with StreamYard, but Zoom during the pandemic was a lifesaver to a lot of people because of what was going on. You
Yeah.
couldn't really go nowhere, so people were using Zoom for everything.
Yeah, I
It was
didn't know
crazy.
Zoom until that either. So it was all Skype
No,
or whatever it was.
that's right. That's right. And I had done a few audio interviews through Skype, and I done some video interviews through Skype, but Zoom was like the next level. The Zoom was like,
Yeah.
everything that I wanted was Skype, except better. So I would use Zoom, and I would start doing video interviews. Just not every week, but just here and there. I just picked some people that I knew that would, be on the show, that would say yes right away and not make me wait or whatever. And so I did that, and I did that for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, as time moved on, I realized that what, I think I might have something here with this video podcast thing, because I think this would really get my feet off the ground if people knew that I was doing a video podcast where they could actually not only see me and see my crew and everything like that, but also see who I'm interviewing. Because I do believe
Yeah.
I do believe I've interviewed everybody that I've talked to. I do believe everybody was real. That nobody was like making it up or doing a prank phone call or whatever. I want to believe that everybody I've ever spoken to was who they say they were, audio wise.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
video wise, you see you that's your proof right there in the pudding that hey, I talked to this person, I've interviewed this person, I've done all that stuff. So. I decided in 2023 that this is the time that I want to take this to the next level, and I want to finally host a show that's just like a weekly show that I would do on the radio, but a thing called a podcast. And I didn't know how it was going to go. I was a little scared to find out, but I was excited for the ride because I had nothing to lose at this point, and I figured if anything, let's just go all in and see what happens. And a year and a half later, everything's been rocking. Ever since August 20th of 2023, we started season 1, and now this past week we finished season 3. We did 20 episodes for the last season, and now season 4 will start in January. So it's been
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
been a long ride, but I feel like over time, with all the mistakes that I've made in life, just by losing confidence in myself, that maybe this was supposed to happen the way that it was supposed to happen. Maybe I needed to wait until I really figured it out to find out what was the missing ingredient that I was missing, and I think that was my confidence, mostly.
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere, though, and it is like I had to learn that way too, pretty much, because I was like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
so, and like I'm watching all these other people do it, and I was like, dude, like that, they have such clear video, clear that I'm very like critiquing everything I watch. I'm like, huh, all right, so how are they doing this? And what kind of computer you got to use and what kind of camera you got to use. And I don't get it. But I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Like that Zoom. I was like,
That's right.
all right. So we'll use it, see what's going on. The StreamYard at one point for me, it got better as I see. This is my second round was StreamYard. But before, when I guess they were starting out or something, it wasn't like up to par, I guess,
They probably had to
and
work out all the kinks, I suppose, just to get it to where they wanted to.
yeah, because that thing was just messing up completely with me. I was like, I don't get it. How is everybody getting all this clear stuff and they're not, doing this and that and this and that? And then they emailed me and they were like, well, what's the problem? I'm just trying to tell you the problem. But so I guess they kind of worked out some different things. So I kind of like the certain stuff that they have on here, nowadays. But
sometimes with people like that, you just have to speak Chinese to them, and then they'll understand it eventually. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, with everything that was going on with Zoom and stuff, I like Zoom. It's been great to use it, and I'll still use it here and there. But we're actually thinking about going to StreamYard for the next season, because I feel like with everything that you're doing right now, those are things that I wanted to do with Zoom. But Zoom makes it so much harder to because Zoom is supposed to be more like an office thing. It was never meant to be like a meeting for like fun stuff. It was supposed to be for important things. That's the whole idea. But so they have a lot of tools and stuff that you can use, like what you do right now with the wording and stuff on the bottom and everything. But it's like you have to go here, you have to go there, you have to do whatever, and it's just like here you're just clicking a button or whatever, have an old preset or whatever, and it's perfect.
Yep.
And the color's great and everything. I mean, it's simple stuff, but it's like you can be creative and more creative, and it enhances your own. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, exactly. And like they let's see if it'll do it here. They added to where you can put a video in here. Let's see if it'll do it, like in the background. So it's moving. It's one of my things. I was up in a helicopter here, but that never happened before. So I said, okay, so we're working that out, and yeah, if Zoom could do a little bit more, I don't want to edit so much. Like that's a lot of work. I don't mind the work, but come on, like this takes out a half of the editing, honestly.
Especially if you're not getting paid to do all this stuff, because that's the thing about with me is like, while everything's great, on the show side as far as doing what we're doing and getting the guests and having a big crew and everything, financially we're still like I make money from my job, but my goal is that I would love to just do this for a living, so I don't have to work for anybody anymore. But
same here.
I feel like with all the things that nowadays, in order to get any help from anybody, you have to have a disease or be dying of something or been in a car accident or something in order for anybody around it. I don't know how it is in Alaska, but for like these GoFundMe's and everything, it's like people are very fickle on helping one another unless there's something wrong with you. So
Yeah, I'm
that
kind
can
of
speak
leery
for a
on those
thousand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of leery on those GoFundMe's because you don't know who's fake and who's real. I don't mind helping, but I I feel horrible for even just creating something, even though I personally really really need it, or my friend needs it, or whatever. But it's like, no, we're not entitled to each other's money or anything like that. Or
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get the help, you know what I mean? But I
Well,
feel guilty for even asking.
I think Steven's plan is to help us get to that next level, so we are being more well known. I don't know what he's done with you, but as far as with me, like I kind of like the idea of the plan that he set for me anyway, as far as the future goes. You know, I mean, I
Yeah,
feel like it's a good connection, and I think it'll in a long term it'll work very well because I like this is only the second show or maybe third show I've been on in the last couple months, and so it's kind of different for me to be the one being interviewed rather than doing the actual interview, you know. So
yeah.
I have to get used to that, I
It,
guess.
yeah, I did a couple interviews too, and I was like, oh, well, this is kind of nice. So, you know,
I
definitely,
think
you want
that
to know about me?
Well, I didn't think nobody would care enough about my story. Like, I'm just a lonely
Yeah,
host, that just kind of, loves pop culture. And I like to call myself, like, I don't know if you ever followed professional wrestling at all or anything more, if you know much about it
yeah,
or its history, but I used to be a big WCW fan. That's World Championship Wrestling. And the
yeah,
guy that I love the most is the guy who I still love the most, out of everybody that's ever worked there, is a guy named Eric Bischoff. And I look at that guy like he was a creative genius, with everything that he ever
yeah.
did. He didn't destroy WCW. That was other people that did that. I feel like he had a vision and he went with it. And that's how I feel about with me. I feel like I have a vision. I've had a long term, this is like long term storytelling kind of in a way, where it's like this vision will happen and eventually people will see it. But when will it happen? And now I'm finally
Right.
realizing that it's happening now. This is when it's happening. So it's kind of I didn't know, so I just kind of just always say, well, it'll happen one day, because you know how people are. It's like, oh, well, you'll get somewhere someday. We have hope in you, but we really don't have much hope in you. But we'll make you feel better and say, someday you'll be a success. But it's like, I want
Right.
to be a success now. I don't want to be a success later. I want to be a success now. But it's like I don't know how to market myself and all that. But now that I have Steven and now I have Renegade Radio and I have all these people that are part of my crew and everything, I feel like we're on a good path. And it's not just financially. I just feel like like people are starting to know, because we did some shows locally too, with the local
Hmm.
area for like the not to be political or anything, but we did like a digital town hall, like a mayor debate where the mayors actually came on my show. That I don't even live in the town that we were talking about. I live like 20 minutes away from that town, but I'm still kind of in the area, close by it.
Okay.
It's like they would even consider doing that, but they came on the show and we did a questionnaire, like a round robin deal. And I think that episode that was back in like October, I believe. I think October 5th, maybe, or October, yeah, like the 7th, I think it was, uh, because of just all the stuff that was going on. And I really feel that episode kind of helped get the show kind of noticed locally, because then the paper was writing about us and everything, about Renegade Radio.
That's
It
pretty.
was a small little tab, but it wasn't like front page news as I would love it to be. Would love it to be, but that would have been different then. But it was just a small little article on page 9, that you have to find. But I found it.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean, so I'm humbled. I'm grateful. I'm just excited. We've had a lot of good times. We've had a lot of good guests on. Like this year, 72 people we've had on, or 71. I think 71 guests this year. But in
Wow,
total,
that's a pretty busy.
in total with last year, I'd say we probably get almost close to 100. You know, like add another 20, so
Yeah.
about 92 or 91, 92, somewhere around there. So we're getting close to 100. We're on episode. This last episode was 54, so we're about probably less than a year away or so from our 100th episode. You know, so yeah,
That's pretty
it's pretty
cool.
exciting. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. I can't believe that, even talk about it with somebody on the internet, it's like, it's pretty cool. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, back in our day, before all the internet, it was hard to do all that. Like you had to jump through
I
hoops just to even get to that.
See, and that's another thing that I'm blessed about. It's the internet has. While a lot of people hate the internet, they always like to trash on technology and everything. I don't. I'm so grateful for the internet because if it wasn't for social media and it wasn't for websites and whatever, because everybody wants to know your idea of how you get people and stuff, And I just, I
Yep.
tell them like, oh, and that's all you have to do, and they say yes. Well, sometimes I've gotten turned down before, but I'm so blessed and happy that social media has been a more of a positive for me, rather than just a
Yep.
negative, and it's helped so much because without that, I don't think I would have done any of this stuff at all. I've just been a normal average person with an average life, doing average things, and you know, paying average bills and eating average food, and whatever. All the average
Eat out of
things
control.
anyway.
Oh, so oatmeal and waffles, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
With
Plain
a
cheese
hint of
pizza.
blueberry.
Oh no, not even that fancy. We go plain cheese pizza. I tell you, that's how bored I would have been probably.
Oh, yeah, I wish I could have a cheese pizza again. But shoot. Yeah, that gatekeeping, I'm big on that gatekeeping. I hate gatekeeping, you know. And I think what you're doing and a lot of other people are doing is good, to be able to help others go through or do what they need to do, figuring out their little how to do things in life.
Yeah,
And
no,
and
I totally agree.
yeah, so definitely, is there any nuggets that you have to tell the people that are up and coming or going through still?
Uh, are you talking like people that want to do
Well,
this or
anybody that want to do that
okay?
or any nuggets that you got in life, technically.
Well, I guess the biggest advice that I could say is like I mean it is true. You will make mistakes. When you're trying to find yourself. I mean, some people might have an easy ride where they might have known somebody that you know did this before, so they have everything all ready to go and everything. So they're the next in line or whatever. But a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people, like you realize nowadays that there are a lot of people who have been more like podcasting in like fancy studios than there used to be. Like I think podcasting, especially nowadays, if you do it in a professional setting, there's a lot of people that are doing it in their houses that never went to school for broadcasting. That's the thing that kind of gets me a little bit. It's like, I went to school for radio, and yet, I didn't get a radio job at all. The only actual job I ever had was in the television. For 3 years, I worked in TV. I worked for in Rapid City, South Dakota. I worked for Fox affiliate called Black Hills Fox, and I was the master controller. And that job, I would have loved to continue to be there. I was there for about 3 years, and then they went through some changes, and I wasn't a part of the change that they were looking for, I guess. And so they let me go, and it was never. I was trying to find another job that was similar to that had that same, creativity and everything, and couldn't find it. Even in the big city of Rapid City, of all the stations that they have and all the things that they have, uh, I just, yeah, it just never worked out after that. So, but I tried not to take that show or that time for granted when I was a part of it. But in life, you make decisions and you make mistakes, and you're gonna keep making mistakes. But when you realize that your time is now, and you feel really confident that you can do it, I say go for it because there are people that I know that have a good voice, good speaking voices, but they're too
Mm-hmm.
afraid to try it out. They're too afraid. I said, you could do a radio show. And I'm not trying to make fun of them, say, the whole joke of, oh, you have a face for radio, because I get told that a lot, from people. But I really don't like that saying because I feel like that's you're kind of like not complimenting. You're trying to compliment them, but then you put them down at the same time. And I don't really like that. I like when people
Mm.
say, we like your show, we've been following you for a long time. We know what you were like back in the day when you were young and everything. And see, because a nugget that you don't know about me, and some people do know, most people that know me know, but you don't know. Uh, I was born with cleft palate. Okay,
Oh.
so I had problems speaking. I could, and I was born with learning disability as well. Uh, I couldn't say many words until I was like 4 years old. But the way that I sounded because of the cleft palate, I sounded like more plugged up than anything else.
Hmm.
But when I started doing radio, we used to do cassette checks or cassette checks or whatever, air checks is what they were called.
Yeah.
You record your voice on tape and, do a show or, see how you sound. Because that was actually one of the
Right.
requirements from that I do remember from broadcasting school. That do an air check tape, because that's part of your grade and everything. So we did, and back in those days, I didn't like how I sounded because in my mind, that's not what I sounded like compared to what I was hearing myself
Yeah.
talk like.
Yeah.
And now it seems like more people can understand me more than they could before because of all the years of just communicating and talking, doing shows, enunciating more words and putting more effort in what you're trying to say instead of just speaking and saying a word and not really giving it much meaning. You know, I'm
Right.
really trying my best to try to overcome all those disabilities and all those faults of mine from back in the day. Where now the people who normally wouldn't have ever given me the time of day, growing up, all of a sudden showed
Yeah.
me all of a sudden showed me like a little bit of respect. And I don't know if it's just because of
Nice.
this or what, but it's just it's very weird because the people that used to bully me and tell me that I was never amount to anything because of my disability or because of just who I was at the time. Now are kind of kissing my arm
Yeah.
or my hand or whatever, like I'm royalty or whatever. Not literally, but just like they're showing me a weird type of respect anyway. Which is
Yeah.
I like it. I'll take it. Because I feel like nowadays, if I would have had this confidence and stuff going in school and everything, that would
Hmm.
have been a different. I think it would have been a lot different. I would have been a lot more. I would have been the popular one that people want to hang out with. I guarantee you. Anybody that was doing radio and stuff, oh my god, are you kidding me? Or podcasting at the time or whatever. Oh man, because back in the day, when people wanted to do that, that was something that only a few people could do. But the ones that did it turned out to be huge, huge people. And all I want to do is just be remembered for something. I don't want to live my life average anymore. I don't want to live, be just known for just doing average things. I want to be known as
Hmm.
somebody that has built a legacy, maybe not so much on finance and money, but has got the ability to overcome a lot of the issues that I used to have with public speaking and self esteem and just being aware that I'm a new person and I'm a lot better than I used to be. And I'm the type of person you want to hang out with because I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm a very rare breed of people that don't do that at all. I spend my money on like electronics, like or movies or physical media. I'm a big physical media guy. And one of the things that I
Right.
just recently purchased was the newest Beetlejuice movie. Because
Oh, okay.
it's what I like. It's like people would rather just stream it, but I got the 4K steelbook here. It's just
Oh,
that's what I
understand.
like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it seems I have a saying that I came up with because of my disabilities, but it seems like you found your purpose, but also you found your ability in your disability, and
yeah.
and that's I've been saying that for years is wanting to help people find their abilities in their disabilities because we all have a purpose, and it
Oh,
seems like you
absolutely.
found yours. You know.
I just feel like it's just like I mean, see, even in school, I was kind of slow. Like I had special ed, throughout my whole school life. I had a speech teacher that tried very hard to get me to speak, and sometimes she had to be a little more harder on me just to get me to say words or to say them better. Uh, I don't know how well I can say that she did, when it came to that, but I feel like I got a better idea of it when I went to broadcasting school and tried out radio. Because maybe my life would have been a lot different if I would have never done that, and who knows what I
Yeah.
would like now. But I feel like I've just been inspired by just being better, not trying to act like I'm better than everybody just because I don't smoke or drink or any of that stuff. It's just I my goals in life are different than most people. Like I said, I'm here to build a legacy. I'm not here to destroy myself or kill myself or because of habits or whatever, that mostly
Yeah.
would hurt people's lives. I'm not somebody that you have to worry about, the America's Most Wanted list or anything like that. You won't ever have to worry about that with me. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. You want to know something about me? I'll gladly tell you. That's why we do this interview, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Because we're gonna have a part two too. Three, four,
oh,
500, whatever it is.
well,
And
yeah, and I definitely want to come back and then do a part two with you because there's a lot more to say, as far as like talking about like the history of the show and stuff and some of the cool guests and stuff that I've had on. I don't know how much you watched or how much because I know we just kind of met a couple weeks ago, but from what you've seen, I mean, do you think that? Do you feel that there's something that needs to be worked on a little bit, or do you feel like it's a pretty good show that could entertain you for a few hours?
honestly, yeah, I have watched it, and it was actually pretty good. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your behind, but like it was, and it kind of inspired me, to do like the stream yard. It's like, oh, I might as well go back onto it and see what's going on, and just the way you have things. And I like, how you deal with your guests and just the random topics, that come out. It's like you never know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like, all
kind of been our
right, cool.
tagline, kind of. Well,
Yeah.
what's really fun about it is like I got a good crew, a very good crew of people that aren't just your average people. What makes all
Hmm.
these guys and gals special is because, like, Screamin' Sam, for example, his real name is John Lutz, but he comes from Ohio, and he was a Sam Kinison tribute artist. Okay, he
Okay.
has a picture of what he looked like back in the day, and a lot of people thought that was actually Sam, but it was actually him from like 25 years ago. Looks just like him.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I still can't believe it myself. I mean, when Sam was like kind of heavier and everything, because he was John kind of goes from skinny to heavy sometimes, or back and forth, or whatever. His weight kind of fluctuates. But he's like 67 years old, or no, 66 years old now. Not 67, 66. And so he's kind of not been doing the tribute for a while, but he's friends with Bill Kinnison, which is Sam's real life brother, and Bill
Hmm.
kind of helped John kind of get where he was kind of like his manager, kind of like how he was Sam's manager back in the day with all his getting all his gigs and stuff. So it's kind of cool to because Sam's the guy that helped me make the show. If you look at the logo, it's actually in tribute to him. It's an AI
Okay.
logo. It's an AI logo that I made through AI software, but and I had a friend do the titles and everything. But the logo is like him in a like 1930s, 1940s Norway style uh, uh, setting with a microphone on the side, screaming because that's what he would do, scream and Sam.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's
All
kind of like
right.
so when people ask about the logo, like, what's the logo about? I mean, it's Renegade Radio, but yeah, it was picture of this random guy or animated guy screaming his lungs out. What's that supposed to be all about? Well, that's a hint Easter egg right there of the nugget that you're talking about. That's one of them
All
anyway.
right.
And
Well, I'm
and
glad I got that nugget.
it's a tribute to him because he's the guy that helped me that agreed to be a part of the show. Like he's my co-host and co-founder of Renegade
Yeah.
Radio. So, and then we got Lance Warlock, who his dad was Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2. back in 1981. And
Oh, nice.
Lance was also in the movie as the boombox boy. He's one of the rare survivors of Michael Myers because he never got killed or nothing. All he did was there's a scene where he walks by him and runs right into him, like not watching where he's going. But he's like a little kid
Yeah.
holding a boombox. And I've known Lance for like 18 years, and we're gonna do. I'm planning on doing going on a trip to Washington where he lives and go visit with him for the first time ever. So that'll be fun. That'll be in May or June of 2025.
Okay.
But he wanted to come on the show because he liked the idea of the podcast. So we started to
Mhm.
slowly grow after a while. It wasn't like all of a sudden we have 2 people, now we have 8 people. No, it took time to kind of build. So we have Mama T, whose name is Tanya Nelson. She's the only female that's on the show, which is surprising. She had a boyfriend named Lil Bobby, who was a blues musician. And, he sadly passed away here back in July here. In fact, Thanksgiving would have been his 49th birthday. But
Oh wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
he passed away at the age of 48, and it was because of alcohol and drugs and stuff, and it was just a whole thing anyway. But he was a well-known blues musician, and so Tanya got to know some of the blues musicians that he knew and everything, and so she got into it and got interested in that type of thing. So he asked her to be a part of my show because he was like the first guest that we had on the show, the first person I interviewed for Renegade Radio. Because I said, well, Bob, you should come on. You have nothing else going on most of the time. You should be a co-host or whatever. Well, he didn't want to do that. But he said, well, maybe I can have my girlfriend do that because she's into pop culture. So we call her Mama T. And she's very good at what she does. She's very she's very informative. She knows her stuff. And she's a lot of fun. We like to roast each other back and forth all the time. She lives not too far from me anyway, probably like 10 minutes away. So we're very close. So then we have John Roberts, who's a radio guy or former radio guy of 40 years. And he does a video podcast on a site called Grand Forks Best Source. And that is out of Grand Forks, North Dakota. You shared a video on your Facebook page a while back ago of a weather guy out of Fargo, North Dakota, talking about the weather and being comical and whatnot about it. That was around my area, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, because
man,
I'm only like less than 2 hours from Fargo, so it's like, that was like a couple of years ago or whatever when that guy was there. I think he was a weekend guy, I believe. Well, anyway, so
I would watch him all the time.
Yeah, Grand Forks is based out of Grand Forks, and they do a video podcast company. So he's the owner of that. So I get to air my show like tonight at 7:00. It'll air on the replay of our show for Monday. The season finale will air tonight on their server because they air my stuff every Saturday at 7. So that's John Roberts, who's the owner of that, and his nephew Paul that kind of takes care of all that stuff. And then we have Antique Man. His name is Eric Adams. He's originally from the Dakotas, but lives in Texas now. And why I had him come on the show is because I met him. Well, I knew him when I was in South Dakota. That's how we met. But like he was a musician, like an old musician guy. Like he was in the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and everything, and he was under the band Cocoon, and got to do that. So and he's a very talented guy. He's very funny. He should have been a comedian because his humor is just like spot on. Like he'll make you laugh just by randomly just saying improv, pretty much. Improvising. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Right.
Who else do we have? We have Ken Heath. We call him DJ Ken. He's out of Las Vegas. He's an actual DJ from Vegas, and he's from California originally. A little nugget about him is he's actually the nephew, Wolfman Jack's nephew, one of them. So we talk about Wolfman Jack. That's as close to Wolfman Jack as I'll ever get. So I befriended him a long time ago, and now he's on my show. He's a good guy. He does this time of the year now. He'll be dressed as Santa Claus for the next month, doing Santa stuff throughout in California for about a month. So
Gotcha.
meeting little kids and everything and doing all types of fun holiday things. He looks just. I saw him the other day when he was on the show with his beard and everything. God, he looks just like Santa Claus. Almost like the real deal. No fake beard from him. That's for sure. And then who else do
Wow.
we got? Oh, I mean, there's a lot of people. I know I'm probably missing. I think Mad Dog is the one that I'm missing. He's the brother to Screaming Sam, and while I didn't know him much at all, but he was a former pro wrestler from the Pittsburgh area. He used to do independent pro wrestling and stuff, and he wanted to be on the show, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's the Mama T right
Aw.
there. It said Bobby passed.
Oh, hi, Mama T.
But we
Sorry to
all
hear
know
about.
we all know why it happened, but it was from heart disease and everything. I didn't even know she was even paying attention. That's cool. Good shout out to you, the Mama T. But anyway, yeah, I mean it's just a good panel of people. I mean, honestly, everybody that's on the show, I'm so grateful because they don't have to spend time with me. I don't pay them, but they do. They like being on, and they come on, and they come on with pride, and they don't ask for nothing. They just I don't know if it's just because they like me so much or whatever, or they like the show, or I don't know what it is, but they tolerate me. You know, I know sometimes I can go off the rails a little bit, but as a host, we just got to do what we got to do sometimes. Now with this,
Right.
now with StreamYard, uh, because you can do a pre-show and you can do stuff beforehand. I'm excited for what the new season's going to bring. I think, yeah, you never know what I'm watching. Yeah, it's like with her, you
That's
got to be
great.
like her own Santa Claus. You got to be. She knows if you're bad or good. I don't know
Nah,
how I
we'll
raise
have to have you come on, Miss Mama T, whenever you want, if you want.
Yeah, I think you should have her on because she's definitely somebody around my area anyway. There's a couple people that I would suggest that you have on that I'll probably give you some information about from my area. There's Tanya, the Mama T, but then there's also a guy named Rob Fairbanks who's called the Res Reporter, and back in like
Okay.
10 years ago or so, one of his videos went viral, and he's kind of been he's a very humble guy. He's from Cass Lake, so he's a Native American guy, but he's a really good. He's very funny. He's a good friend of mine. Uh, I'll send you some information, about that, just so you know,
Mm.
and try to get him on because I think he would be fun to have on your show, just because of
Yeah.
he does Native American comedy, and it's hilarious. So
Right.
anyway, so yeah, I mean that's if we do a part 2 or whatever, I mean there's a lot more stuff I can definitely talk about for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So the last thing, you were talking about the legacy. Legacy. What would be your legacy that you would leave?
Well, the biggest thing that I would want to leave is just being remembered for doing something amazing. As we were talking about before, I don't want to just leave this earth an average person. I want to be able to be, that maybe someday people will write a movie about me or write a book or write a song about me or something. I'm not as big as Stephen King. I'm not big as Robert Zemeckis, but I'm just me. I'm Franky Slawson or Shawn Edward Slawson. My gift to giving back to society is not only the gift of me, but the gift of being able to be a fun host, hosting a podcast, wherever Renegade Radio
Hmm.
goes from here and in the future. I think it has stability, and I feel like it's only going to get better from here on out. I'm 41 years old. I got nothing but time. I got nothing to lose, and everything to gain. And I just want to live to have fun and be proud of all the accomplishments, but also be proud of the accomplishments of other people too, because I feel like we're all a team, no matter if we know each other that well or not. And everybody should be able to succeed if they want to do something fun. I'm just not someone that just wants to be known as a normal 9 to 5er. We went to college. I failed, but did I really fail? Not really. I don't think so. I think I stuck by with what I was supposed to stick by with. I just went a different route. I went a different direction. Many years later, I'm finally at that spot where I should have been in 2002, or maybe even sooner than that. But I feel comfortable with things. I feel good now. So hopefully that'll keep going for a long time.
That's good. You are in your own lane. You're not in somebody else's lane, which
Nope.
you already won. Uh, and you are actually being the best version of yourself, or you're even becoming the best version of yourself. And that's all we ask for, you know,
The
is we're
best.
not fake,
I just,
we're
yeah,
real.
that's right. I mean, I want to be 100% real. Great legacy to be the person who reminds me people of other accomplishments makes them feel good about it. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's coming from Mama Tia. I give her, see, we roast each other all the time. We rib each other. I give her bad time. She gives me bad time. But seriously, I do love and appreciate her for not only just spending time with me every week, but just she's become such a stronger person that, especially after her boyfriend died, you know, and I'm happy to want to be one of those people that kind of, because I could have easily just ignored it, whatever, just we went our separate ways or whatever. But I'm happy to try to say that I'm one of the people that kind of keep her happy, keep her smiling because we all had a devastating loss after he died, and it was
Mhm.
unexpected. But for her to go through that and to not know what's next, and still don't know what's next. But I'm just happy that I can call her one of my friends, and I'm just going to do what I can to keep her happy, you know, as long as I can. She's a very special person. I think you should have her on the show. I think you and her would hit it off pretty swell. I don't know how often you have women on the show, but I think she would be
Oh,
perfect.
I accept her. I accept women as well. So whenever,
Well, that's
whenever
good.
the
That's good.
opportunity comes through, like Mama T, we would love to have you on this show. Just since you're watching, well, this is a personal invitation to you. So whenever you want. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, she's very, very blessed to have you. Like for
because
real.
Christina's from Alaska, their mom to. I mean, that's a big state of Alaska for crying out loud. You said, well, she said she went to Alaska like a year or two ago for vacation. So I don't know exactly where she went, but she said she's been there. I've never been there before. I've
Oh,
been to the West Coast, but never to Alaska also. So
okay. Well, speaking of how we, um, all right. Um, so remember how I said earlier in the show, about Alaska turning lights during the day, like about
yeah.
9:30. So it's like 9:22, and it finally became light. Like, just to let
Yeah,
you know.
that's so weird, but hey, that's okay. That's all right. That's just how it goes. At least you get a little sunlight anyway. Huh?
Yeah, we get that in about 5:30, 6 o'clock is our shut off.
Yeah,
They
that's
turn off
about
our
what it is here
lights.
too.
I went
That's
there
about
last
how it
year
is
for.
here too.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
that's good
where'd you
for.
go? Where'd you end up in Alaska, Miss T?
Yeah, because she told me, but I forgot. I totally forgot what
Because
she was saying.
I'm here in Anchorage, but I do a lot of photography and everything around.
Is it pretty cold over there, like below zero, like how it is here,
Mm,
or it's like four
it
below right now over here?
it depends on the time of the day, I guess. Yesterday it went from -4 to 0 to 2 to 7 to 15,
Okay.
and then when I woke up it was 0. So we're we're back at that.
Good
Not
day to
sure
go
what it is
fishing,
now.
right?
What's that?
Good day to go fishing. Without a
Oh,
shirt on,
absolutely.
just go swimming in the beach and everything, and just have a good old time.
Oh, oh, Anchorage. We're definitely the airport because there was like one big airport. So Anchorage, yep, that's where I'm at. I'm not too far. I'm like 15 minutes away from the airport.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah,
For
to
sure.
Ted Stevens Airport, and then you got to take the little planes everywhere else. Like, okay,
Uh,
whatever.
Well, anyway, I do appreciate you having me on there, Chris. I mean, this was awesome just to get to meet you and everything, and
Oh
share
yeah,
our stories and kind of banter back and forth a little bit. It's pretty cool.
absolutely. And we think. Hold on. There was a lot of dispensaries, a lot of great restaurants, and we stayed at a B&B. Yep, sounds like Anchorage. like, like definitely Anchorage. Um, but yeah, we thank you for coming on the show, and we thank you for sharing your story, or at least part of it, because we know that they're going to have a part 2, part 3, all kinds of stories. And we also would like for your team to come on as well, and just and shoot the breeze as well, and whatnots. And but with all that, we thank you. We thank you guys for watching. We thank you for supporting. You can support him. How can we before we leave, how can we get a hold of you and all your spots that you're
Well, I
on?
mean, you can find me on social media because I'm a social media guy. But the website is you can find me on YouTube. Just search under Franky Slawson Productions, or type in Franky Slawson, Franky Slawson's Renegade Radio on Facebook or YouTube, because you'll find I kind of changed the name from Renegade Radio to Franky Slawson's Renegade Radio, just not because I'm trying to have an ego trip or anything. It's just that there's so many different Renegade Radios out there, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just call it Franky Slawson's Renegade Radio. So that way it's easier,
Okay.
So that's pretty much how you do it. I'm on Facebook at Franky Slawson, and add me as a friend. I mean, we don't know each other, but I love to get to know you. So I'm a fun person to hang out with, I think. We get to know online anyway. So that's pretty much it, as far as how to find me. I really would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and have an archive full of stuff. Prior to Renegade Radio, I mean, just so much stuff out there. A lot of interviews, a lot of audio interviews, a bunch of video interviews, vlogs that I used to do. I don't really do many vlogs anymore, but just all types of stuff. I've had the channel since September 2008. So, yeah,
Okay.
Mama T's Little Bobby Buzz. Yeah, she said
.com.
type of, yeah.
She fixed it. She fixed it. We got you, Mama T. Okay. So we thank you. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
we will end the show right here.